Japan and the Secretary of State of the United States. The Quad ministers had an opportunity to take a review of the progress of the Quad agenda and discussed regional and global developments concerning the Indo-Pacific. The meeting reaffirmed the Quad's commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific and emphasized that the Quad continues to evolve as a practical and an action-oriented platform, delivering tangible benefits for the region. Discussions focused around 4 pillars of Quad cooperation. The first pillar is maritime and transnational security. 2, economic prosperity and security. 3, critical and emerging technologies. And 4, humanitarian assistance and disaster response. The ministers underscored the importance of maritime security and resilient sea lanes in the Indo-Pacific. The Quad has expanded its cooperation under the IPMDA, which is the Indo-Pacific Maritime Partnership for Maritime Domain Awareness, including efforts towards a comprehensive common operational picture across the Indo-Pacific. The Quad today launched the Indo-Pacific Maritime Surveillance Collaboration, the IPMSC. This is aimed to strengthen the coordination in maritime surveillance. IPMSC, with the integration of the latest technologies, will augment the IPMDA and enable sharing of real-time information and provide an enhanced picture of vessels. This effort will initially be focused on the Indian Ocean region. Counterterrorism is a significant pillar of the Quad cooperation. Ministers strongly condemn terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism. The joint statement specifically condemned the terrorist attack in Pahalgam in April 2025 and reiterated the need for decisive international action against terrorist entities, financiers, and sponsors. Economic security and resilient supply chains featured prominently in the discussions. The Quad announced the Quad Critical Minerals Initiative framework to strengthen cooperation in mining, processing, recycling, and investment across trusted critical mineral supply chains. The idea is to mobilize public and private sector support and deepen cooperation in various areas, including regulatory practices, investment facilitation, recycling technologies, and resilient supply chains essential for advanced manufacturing and emerging technologies. The ministers underlined the importance of freedom of navigation, unimpeded commerce, and the safety and security of seafarers, including through key maritime routes. In light of the recent disruptions in global energy markets, the Quad has launched the Quad Initiative on Indo-Pacific Energy Security. The effort is aimed at leveraging the unique resources that Quad partners bring to the table, and the idea is to come up with an engagement plan that will focus on technology, management, international market analysis, and emergency response. Building on the success of the Quad Ports of the Future conference that India had hosted in Mumbai last year, the Quad has reaffirmed its commitment to trusted and resilient infrastructure, including port infrastructure development in Fiji. The ministers emphasized the importance of trusted technology partnerships in areas such as 5G, 6G, AI, Open RAN, semiconductors, digital standards, and strengthening undersea cable connectivity across the Indo-Pacific. The Quad also announced cooperation on next-generation communication standards and digital identity interoperability. The Quad reaffirmed its commitment to practical cooperation in the domain of HADR. The Quad also highlighted progress under the IPLN, which is the Indo-Pacific Logistics Network, which is aimed at enabling faster and more effective civilian disaster response across the Indo-Pacific. Overall, the foreign ministers' meeting has demonstrated the Quad's continued focus on practical cooperation and delivery-oriented initiatives that contribute to peace, stability, resilience, and prosperity of the Indo-Pacific. At the end of the meeting, Quad partners have adopted 4 documents: a joint statement, a fact sheet, a joint statement on the Indo-Pacific energy security, and the Quad Critical Minerals Initiative framework. All of these 4 documents are already uploaded on the MEA website. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With that, we open the floor for questions. So we'll go from this side or from here, Akhilesh.
So I'm Akhilesh Suman from DD News. Strait of Hormuz is one of the major problems of the world and specifically the Indo-Pacific country, Global South. So when the four foreign ministers met today, what was the orientation of the discussion and was there any joint action plan for reopening the Strait of Hormuz?
We go second one.
मैं उमाशंकर सिंह इंडिपेंडेंट जर्नलिस्ट। अभी आपने बताया कि कैसे एक पहल की गई है सर्विलेंस को लेके जिसको कि इंडो पैसिफिक मैरीटाइम सर्विलेंस कोलैबोरेशन की जो पहल है वो की गई है। मेरा सवाल ये है कि ये क्या सर्विलेंस इसके ज़रिए किया जाएगा, क्योंकि हमें ये पता है कि नेटो जो है वो एक मिलिट्री ब्लॉक नहीं है और ये किसी एक देश के खिलाफ भी नहीं है। क्या ये एक कलेक्टिव डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म की तरफ बढ़ने का पहला कदम उस तौर पे इसको देख सकते हैं? थैंक यू।
Kadambini, we'll come back.
I'm Kadambini Sharma, independent journalist. Sir, I want to ask this question on critical minerals understanding. It says that the framework will strengthen critical mineral supply chains in mining, processing and recycling. So what is this system of recycling? Where will there be any special systems in countries or specifically in India? Thank you, sir.
Neeraj.
सर, नीरज, न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया से। आज संयुक्त प्रेस वार्ता के दौरान ये कहा गया कि 18 महीने में तीसरी विदेश मंत्रियों की बैठक है। अब से थोड़ी देर पहले आपने कहा कि 11वीं विदेश मंत्रियों की बैठक है, लेकिन अब तक 18 महीने में कोई लीडर सम्मेलन नहीं हुआ है और ये माना जा रहा है कि अमेरिका बहुत गंभीर नहीं है इसे लेकर। क्या इस बारे में कोई बातचीत हुई? साझा बयान में इस बात का जिक्र भी कर देता हूं जिसमें कहा गया है कि आने वाले वक्त में क्वाड लीडर सम्मेलन होगा और अगला विदेश मंत्रियों का सम्मेलन होगा। ये सम्मेलन कहां होंगे?
सर, कृष्णमोहन शर्मा, भारत एक्सप्रेस से। एक सवाल उठाया जा रहा है कि क्वाड की जो सम्मेलन हो रहा है इंडो पैसिफिक, लेकिन उसमें थर्ड पार्टी के बारे में चर्चा की जा रही है और थर्ड पार्टी का उसमें इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं है। मतलब वो चाइना का एक उस पर रिएक्शन आया है, तो उसमें ये माना जा रहा है कि मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी की बात करें या इंडो पैसिफिक की बात करें तो उसमें उसका क्या स्टैंड रहने वाला और हमारा क्या स्टैंड है।
I think Nagaraj, we can take these questions and come back for more. You have an additionality, Huma? Okay, linked to his question. Please go ahead. Uma Shankar's question.
So I'm Huma Siddiqui.
Surveillance, huh? Surveillance.
The U.S. Secretary of State also mentioned something about a Coast Guard joint action. So if you can talk about that, and also you mentioned about the energy security. You talked about the Quad talking about energy security. If you can talk, give.
We can take these questions.
Okay. Thank you. I think if you look at the joint statement that has been released today, I think contextually speaking, we find ourselves at that moment wherein the international waters are increasingly getting closed, and that is impacting our overall energy security. Particularly not just India, but many countries across the Indo-Pacific. And I think all Quad partners agreed to this. And there was a long discussion on it as to what countries could do, how do we ensure affordable energy for example, for India, 1.4 billion people. What are we doing? How are we trying to diversify our sources from where we can obtain our energy? Similarly, Australia was sharing their experiences and Japan was sharing its experiences. Overall, I think the idea was how do we ensure that as Quad partners, we can work together to ensure freedom of navigation, unimpeded commerce, because the rights and the safety of our seafarers is also involved. And in the midst of many of these complex global situations that we see, it is the seafarers that who keep getting impacted a lot. And Quad, if you look at the joint statement, there's a specific reference to this element also. So as the Quad ministers did deliberate on this for quite some time, and connected to this is the joint statement that we have specifically released on this occasion, which highlights as to how the Quad partners are spotlighting energy security. As I had said in my briefing note also, our attempt is to ensure that how do we leverage the unique resources and capabilities that the Quad partners can bring to bear, and prepare an engagement plan. This plan will focus on not just technology, management, policy, but also international market analysis, as well as emergency response. How can we respond to such emergency situations? What are the best practices? So I think the foreign minister spoke on this issue at quite a length. And it is on that basis that some of these documents have also been released. I would encourage you to kindly look at this joint statement. There's some very novel ideas that we have put forward. I have heard a question on the surveillance bit that we had earlier talked about. This is the the Indo-Pacific Maritime Surveillance Cooperation. This should not be surveillance. Should not be seen as militarization of the Quad. Neither is IPMDA, the Indo-Pacific Maritime Domain Awareness. The idea today is that the international waterways today are now getting clogged. At the same time, there are a lot of gray ships around. There are dark ships around. So countries, in the Indo-Pacific sometimes do not have access to such technologies. So Quad partners have come together. Some of these technologies are very, very expensive. They are available commercially. So what Quad partners are doing together is to somehow buy this. For example, we have the Indian Ocean region, the IOR, wherein we kind of get the data from the United States, and this data is then circulated to friendly countries who need such data for their own safety issues. So this is something that we have discussed within the Quad domain, that this IPMDA project has been going on for quite some time. It is not new. The additional layer that we have added through the IPMSC is to bring in more technology to bear. So IPMDA will top up with IPMSC, and this will enable us to provide real-time data to partners, particularly, and give them an enhanced picture of the kind of vessels that are operating in the waters. So that is the whole focus on the IPMSC bit. We have seen a question on critical minerals and the focus on recycling. Today, the entire discussion around critical minerals, rare earths, etc., has taken immense traction. And the whole issue of how do you ensure supply chain resiliency, everybody seems to be asking the same question. But not everybody has the ability to process rare earths. So that has become a huge challenge, because not many countries have put resources into processing and extraction of some of these rare earth resources. And as we advance and focus more on new technologies, the demand for critical minerals is only going to rise. So how do you ensure that, for example, all of you are using smartphones, so the amount of critical minerals that could get into a smartphone is something that we need to think about. So as your automobiles are becoming extremely smart. If you look at an average automobile today, the dashboards are completely digital. All of them require rare earths. So as we keep growing and the societies and technology becomes more smarter, and in a country as large as India, you need access to critical minerals. So you are looking at the entire value chain of the critical minerals, including recycling, because end of the day, if you have the technology to extract critical minerals out of electronics that have been used but are going to be anyway disposed of, so that will be a huge game changer. And it is this area wherein we think that India can come together, because end of the day, recycling is not going to be an easy. You also need large quantities of products to extract your resources from. And I think the idea is to how do you bring private sector, public sector, quad partners together and identify relevant projects which can really work for the Indo-Pacific. So that was the whole idea.